Hey everyone, Sam here from Sugar Spun Run, and today we are making Buckeye cookies. One of my all-time favorite flavor combos. Today we are taking peanut butter and chocolate to the next level. I'm talking chewy, chocolatey brownie cookie, rich, creamy peanut butter filling, and a silky smooth chocolate ganache crown. Of course, we are going to be starting with butter. You're going to need 1 cup of unsalted butter. Now, one of my favorite tricks that I like to do when I can get away with it, when I'm making cookies, is I like to melt the butter. This works well for a number of reasons, but mostly what it does is it infuses a nice butter flavor all throughout the cookie. You could melt this on the stovetop if you'd like. I'm just going to pop it in the microwave and heat it until it's completely melted. Make sure you're only heating this in like 10-15 second intervals and stirring in between. Otherwise, it could pop and explode in your microwave. Then you lose some butter. You have to clean your microwave. You guys know we don't waste butter around here, so just be patient with it. All right, once this is melted, or at least 90% melted, like mine is, we're going to add our cocoa powder. We're using unsweetened or natural cocoa powder today, and we want to add that while our butter is still a little bit warm, because that's going to help bloom the cocoa powder, which is going to help develop that rich chocolate flavor. This is 1/2 cup of natural cocoa powder. All right, we'll also add 1 cup of granulated sugar and 3/4 cup of firmly packed light brown sugar. Mix these in until they're nicely combined. Break up any lumps from that brown sugar. Packing it usually helps eliminate a lot of the lumps, but we don't always get all of them. Okay, that's looking great. Just gonna grab my sugar bowl, and here I'm going to crack my eggs. You'll need 1 large egg. Add this in with our batter, and we are also going to be using 1 egg yolk. This is just the yolk. I don't do this just to waste an egg white. In fact, I recommend you save your egg white, make meringue cookies, or feed it to your dog, do whatever you want with it. Don't toss it. But adding just an additional egg yolk is going to help make these cookies extra soft and extra tender. It really is a lot nicer than if you were to add the whole egg, which would make them too cakey, too thick, and actually a little too dry. Now for flavor, we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let's get everything nicely stirred together. All right, let's slide this out of the way and grab a separate mixing bowl for our dry ingredients. To this, we're going to add 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and don't waste baking soda either. And we're also going to add 3/4 teaspoon of table salt. Add it in there as well. Whisk everything together until it's nicely combined. Bring back our bowl of chocolate here, and gradually add the dry ingredients to the wet until completely combined. I like to do this in like 3 parts. You don't want to add all of the flour at once because that can overwhelm your cookie dough and just make it a little bit too dry and difficult to work with. Now, for today's recipe, you could use an electric mixer or you could use a stand mixer. But since we're using melted butter, it's very easy to just combine everything by hand, so that's what I'm doing. All right, a little bit more flour. These cookies were so much fun to develop. They were inspired by my Buckeye candies and my Buckeye brownies. They are just like another gourmet cookie. I would categorize them with my blueberry muffin cookies. Like, you could sell these at a bake sale or at a farmer's market. I think they would be really popular. I would buy them, so whatever that's worth. Last bit of flour. As you can see, it is a little bit of a dry cookie dough, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to get it combined. But if we added all of our flour at once, it would be very frustrating to get everything combined. You could do it, you would just be annoyed. Okay, this is looking pretty good, so let's cover the bowl with plastic wrap, and we're going to chill it in the fridge for 30 minutes, if I can get this untangled, because I'm struggling here. I want these cookies to be nice and thick when I bake them. Oh my gosh, I don't really know what happened. I want these cookies to be nice and thick when I bake them. They're a very substantial cookie, and when you bite into them, you want them to be nice and chocolatey and rich. So in order to help get that texture I'm looking for, we're going to chill the dough for 30 minutes. Try not to struggle too much. There we go. See you in 30 minutes. Okay, glad to see you're still here. So we can start baking our cookies, but of course you need to get your oven preheating first. Make sure it is set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now our dough's out of the fridge. And in the written recipe, I provide you with 2 instructions. You can make smaller, more regular person-sized cookies and use a 2 tablespoon scoop, or you can make super deluxe, gourmet, mega delicious bakery-style cookies that are unreasonably large. Today, we are going to be making the large cookies. And why is that, Nikki?
Go big or go home.
Because Nikki says we need to go big or go home. So we're going big. I'm using an ice cream scoop here. This is about a 1/3 cup, so I'm going to go a little light on it. We want 1/4 cup size scoops. Obviously, you're going to get fewer cookies if you make them super mega large like this. And I have here a baking sheet that I've lined with parchment paper. Now I need a little bit more than that. I'm going to roll this into a ball, on a nice smooth ball. And we are going to space our cookies at least 2 inches apart on the baking sheet. They are going to spread some. Having all kinds of anxiety that I'm not making them 1/4 cup. So we're just going to make sure, oh, look at that. That was actually perfect. One day I won't doubt myself, but not today. I'm so excited for you guys to make these at home. I saw a chipmunk this morning, and every time I see a chipmunk, I always say to myself, it's gonna be a good day. Now I've seen a chipmunk and we're going to have these amazing gourmet cookies. So it's really going to be a good day. Okay, we will take these cookies over to our preheated oven now. And for these mega large deluxe cookies, they need to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes. If you were making them half the size with a 2 tablespoon scoop, you would be baking them about 9 to 10 minutes. All right, so these are looking pretty good. You may notice a little bit of cracking around the edges. The cookies should appear dry around the edges. That's a good indicator that they're done. I'm going to let these breathe for just a couple of seconds. Then I'm going to take a clean measuring cup. This is a 1 cup measuring cup, and I'm going to very gently flatten the surface of each cookie. This is just going to give us a nice, smooth, level surface that we're going to be adding our peanut butter fudge filling to. And just be very gentle, and if the cookie is sticking to your measuring cup or anything like that, you just might be moving a little too quickly. So just give them a minute before you flatten them. Yeah, these are going to be some big cookies. It's gonna be great. So this step also sort of compacts the cookie in on itself. It makes it extra dense in the middle. It gives it a really great brownie texture. I'm so excited for you to try these. Now, just a quick reminder, this is not all of our cookie dough. You are going to get about a dozen cookies out of this dough, even if you make them super large like this. You'll get about double that if you make them regular person sized. We are going to let these cookies cool completely before we cover them with our frosting. So I'm just going to slide them out of the way here. The pan is hot. But in the meantime, while the cookies cool, we can start making that peanut butter layer. So if you've ever made Buckeye candies before, this filling is going to look pretty familiar to you. We're going to start, of course, with lots of peanut butter. I'm using 2 cups of creamy peanut butter. I'm just going to add this to a large mixing bowl. A lot of peanut butter. We have some big cookies to cover. And you're also going to need 1/2 cup of butter. You want this butter to be softened, and you could use salted or unsalted. I'm using unsalted today, so we'll just be adding a little bit of salt in a bit. Now I'm going to cream together the butter and the peanut butter until everything is smooth and well combined. Beautiful, and it smells delicious. Now we're going to add a little bit of vanilla extract. I'm just using a teaspoon. This is my homemade vanilla. Never pour your vanilla over the bowl like I'm doing, because you can accidentally overpour it. And believe it or not, too much vanilla can be a bad thing. So I took a risk here because I'm supposed to be a professional, and because I didn't feel like risking spilling it on my counter, but really you should just not do it over your bowl. I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt because I used unsalted butter. If you used salted butter, you can skip this, or taste and add salt if you feel like you need it. Some peanut butters just use a little bit more salt than others, so it's a good idea to taste test anyway. All right, next we need our powdered sugar. This is 2 1/4 cups of powdered sugar, and we are just going to gradually add it to the peanut butter mixture. Don't add it all at once. You'll get it all over your kitchen, all over yourself, and it'll just be harder to combine. Added it slowly, and I still have a nice cloud of powdered sugar all around me. I can taste it in the air. It's not a bad taste, but probably not great for your lungs. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Last bit. Might have gone a little too heavy here, but we're going to take a chance. Okay, let's take a look at our peanut butter mixture here. It should be smooth but slightly stiff because you're going to need to be managing this with your hands. One thing I like to do is just take a little bit of it and make sure I can roll it between my palms because that tells me it's the right consistency. If yours is too soft, your butter may have just been a little bit too warm. You can pop it in the fridge for 15 minutes and it should be manageable after that. If it's still too sticky after that, you might just need a little bit more powdered sugar. So stir that in a spoonful at a time until you've reached this consistency. So big cookies call for large portions of peanut butter. We're going to be using about 2.5 tablespoons of peanut butter here. This is just a 1.5 tablespoon scoop, so I'm sort of eyeballing it. Now I'm going to take the peanut butter mixture and I'm just going to roll it between my palms. I want to have a nice little ball. Mine's a little sticky from the lights on in here, but that's fine. And I'm just going to gently flatten this. I like there to be a nice mound of peanut butter on there. You see that? So I don't flatten it all the way. Like when you bite into it, I want you to have a nice layer of ganache, peanut butter, and cookie. So I keep this pretty thick, but I don't go all the way to the edge. Your cookie, you can do however you would like though. I'm going to use my offset spatula to sort of smooth this a little bit. Another reason I don't like the peanut butter to go all the way to the edge is because I like there to be something that you can hold onto when you're eating it, and if it goes all the way to the edge, it can get a little bit too messy. All right, these are coming along really nicely. We have our peanut butter on top, but of course we need that nice chocolate topping, which is just the cherry on top. So sometimes I will pop my cookies in the refrigerator just while I'm preparing the ganache because it helps the ganache set a little bit faster, but that is a completely optional step. It will still set even if your cookies are room temperature. I'm going to slide these to the side and I am going to move over to the stove top. You're just going to need a small saucepan, and to this we're going to add 6 tablespoons of heavy cream. We'll heat this over medium or low heat until it is just simmering. And in the meantime, you're going to want to grab yourself a heat-proof bowl. And to this, you're going to add 1.5 cups of chocolate chips, or today I'm using couverture chocolate instead. Milk chocolate chips or semi-sweet chocolate chips will work well here, just whatever your preference is. Obviously, milk chocolate will be a little bit sweeter. I'm going to set this aside, and I'll just swirl the pan a few times while I'm warming it, just because I want it to heat evenly. Essentially, we're just making a ganache, but this is thicker than a ganache that I would use for, say, decorating a cake. I just wanted a more stable, fudgier layer. Okay, so I see I have some steam coming off of the pot here. So I am going to immediately pour this evenly over my chocolate. I'd like to get them all covered with a little bit of that cream. And then I'm going to cover this with aluminum foil. We're going to let this sit undisturbed for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we'll remove that foil and use a whisk to stir everything together until you have a nice smooth chocolate. Now you shouldn't have any problem, but because we do have a higher ratio of chocolate to cream, if for any reason your chocolate doesn't melt completely and it's not nice and smooth, just pop it in the microwave in like 8-second intervals, whisking really well in between until it is completely smooth. Okay, once our chocolate is nice and smooth and completely melted, we can add it to our cookies. Let's bring these over. I just take a small spoon. I just drop a little bit on top and smooth that over the surface. Now you can do as much or as little of this as you'd like. You can completely coat the peanut butter, or I like to leave a little bit peeking through just because, I don't know, I like to see the peanut butter. It's a Buckeye cookie, you're supposed to see the peanut butter. Now this ganache shouldn't take too long to set, but if you'd like, you can pop the cookies in the fridge and the chocolate will set even faster. Now, that being said, I really think these cookies are best served at room temperature. I keep them at room temperature, so I would recommend letting them come back to room temperature before you enjoy. So I'm not sure how much time you'll actually save by putting them in the fridge. So excited about these. These are just such a fun gourmet cookie. Check that out. That is how you make these fun Buckeye cookies. If you try this one, please let me know what you think. If you're someone who sells these cookies, I would love to know how they do for you. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, I want to show everybody a regular sized cookie just for comparison. Regular, and one of the big ones. Okay, which one would you rather eat? Let's try it out. It's so good. You can see I've gotten all my steps in today already. We don't waste butter. Well, maybe I didn't say the magic word. Pictures up. I don't remember where I was going with this. I was gonna say something and I just lost it. You would just be annoyed. Like I am by this string hanging off my shirt. But that's a problem for later. What's that, Nick?
You should always doubt yourself.
Can always count on you for words of wisdom. Glad I didn't just lose them there. That would have been awkward. Oh my gosh.